Hi everybody! I am Irma Jane Payag Pagara and I am currently studying at Northern Bukidnon State College as a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics first year student. So I am doing this video to make a tutorial video about functions. So in this video, here are our objectives. So at the end of the video, we are able to answer these following questions. So first, what is function? Second, what is relation? And lastly, how can we determine if the relation is a function? So let us start. So what is function? Function is a relation that associates each element of x, the domain or input, to a single element of y, the range or output. So function is a relationship between x and y. In function, we can call the x also as the input, while we can call the y as our output. We said that function is a kind of relation. So first, what is a relation? So relation is any set of ordered pairs. So as I've said earlier, function is a relationship between x and y. So it does mean that relation is any set of ordered pairs. Relation is any set of x and y. So in relation, we need two or more x and y. So we need two or more ordered pairs. So here's an example. 1 and 2, 2 and 4, 3 and 5, and 5 and 1. But here's the question. How can we determine that this relation is a function? So here are the ways so that we can determine or we are able to identify whether that relation is a function or not a function. So first, identify the input value and identify the output values. So if each input value leads to only one output value, classify the relationship as a function. So if any input value leads to two or more output, do not classify that relation as a function. So it only means that function is a relation that the x or the input should only have a one y or the output. So let's have an example. We have here ordered pairs 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 3 and 1. But before that, we can also write this as a, so function can be written as f of x. So we can write it as f of x is equal to 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 3 and 1. So function can be written like this. F of x is equal to the ordered pairs. So how can we determine that this example is a function? So as I've said earlier, identify first the input values. So our input values here are 1, 2, and 3. The output of the input 1 is 2. And the output of the input 2 is 3. And the output of the input 3 is 1. So I've said earlier, identify first the input and then identify the output. So this table can be written also as this. So we can able to identify the relation easily than this. So here the inputs are 1, 2, and 3 as well as the output are 1, 2, and 3. So the output of input 1 is 2. So we connect it here. And then the output of the input 2 is 3. So we connect it here. And lastly, the output of 3 is 1. So we connect it here. So as you can see, there is only in one input, it have only one output, and one output, there's only one input. So we can say that this relation, these ordered pairs, is a function because there is only one input and one output. There's also a one way so that we can determine or we can identify whether that relation is a function or not a function. So it's called as vertical line test. So vertical line test is if a vertical line crosses the relation in the graph only once in all locations, the relation is a function. However, if a vertical line crosses the relation more than once, the relation is not a function. All lines except vertical lines are functions. Circles, squares, and other closed shapes are not functions, but parabolic and exponential curves are functions. So this is how the vertical line test works. So if we will graph the example we have here, which is the f of x is equal to 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 3 and 1. So we will put 1 and 2 here. The x is 1 and the y is 2. And second, 2 and 3. So the x is 2 and the y is 3. So here. And lastly, the 3 and 1. So the x is 3 and the y is 1. So we will put here. And then we just have to connect it. So the function 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and y looks like this if we will graph it. So if we will use the vertical line test, we just have to do like this. So as you can see, we crosses the relation only once. So definitely, the example we have here, the function 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and the 3 and 1 is a function. So in able to test whether we really understand the means of functions, I have here lots of examples so that we can practice if we really understand the function. So I have here number 1, f of x is equal to the ordered pairs x and s, z and q, and y and s. So as we can see, they have different inputs which are the x, z, and y. There is no repeated value. While their outputs, there's a repetition. They repeat the value s. But always remember that in function, is it okay that we repeat the output or the y, but do not repeat the x or the input? So we can call it as a function because there's no repetition in the value of the inputs. So the second one is the f of x is equal to the ordered pairs 1 and 1, 3 and 2, and 1 and 3. So as we can see, the value 1 repeats in our output. So while the output do not repeat the value. So as you remember, function do not repeats its input. So we cannot call this a function. This is a not function. So number 3, we have here. The inputs are A, R, and S, while the output are C, B, and A. So as we can see, there's no a repetition, so we call it as a function. While here, The inputs are 1, 2, and 3, and the outputs are 10, 20, and 30. The output of input 1 is 10, the input of output 20 is 2, the output of input 2 is 30. There's no a repetition. So we call this example as a function. So let's proceed to our example number 4. So input P connects to output M, input Q connects to output N, and the input R also connects to output N. So what we call this? Is this a function or not a function? So, as I've said earlier, is it okay to repeat its output but do not repeat its input? So, it repeats, so here it repeats the input, which is the Q and R. So this is not a function. How about this example number 5? We have inputs 2 and 3 and outputs 1, 2, and 3. Input 2 connects to output 1 and then input 3 connects to outputs 2 and 3. So here, the inputs are repeated, the X are repeated. So this is not a function. So we proceed to the vertical line test. We have 6 examples. So first, here. If we will use the vertical line test, we will do like this. So as you can see, the vertical line crosses the relation only once. So this is a function. While here, we do the vertical line test again. The vertical line crosses the relation only once. So this is also a function. How about this? The graph looks like letter S. So we'll do again the vertical line test. So as you can see, the vertical line crosses the relation more than once. So this is not a function. And how about this? We'll do again the vertical line test. So the vertical line crosses the relationship more than once. So this is also a not function. And how about this? Do the vertical line test. We can definitely say that this is a function because the vertical line crosses the relation only once. And lastly here, the graph looks like circle. So do the vertical line test. As you can see, the vertical line crosses the relation twice. So this is not a function. And as I've said earlier, circles and squares and other closed shaped lines are not function. So that was the ending of my tutorial video. Hope you like and understand my discussion. Thank you for watching, and I am Irma Jane Payag Pagara saying keep safe and God bless.